Pitfall for the Atari 2600 was a phenomenon with excellent gameplay and spot-on controls. So, many years later, I am the Game Collector and this is Second Opinion Games, and today we do our review of Pitfall, the Mayan Adventures for the Atari Jaguar.
Second Opinion Games.
This version of Pitfall was meant to be a multi-platform game. It came out on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, and even the Game Boy Advance. It also came out on the Sega CD, and it sounds absolutely great on the Sega CD. On the Atari Jaguar, however, it falls flat in quite a few places. The music is just so-so, but the sound effects, some seem to be missing, and some sound rather weak. All in all, here in the sound quality department, it just gets a passing score for me. But that's okay as long as the gameplay's spot on. And remember when I said about the classic 2600 game? Well, it's in here as well. At the main title screen, if you highlight info, hit the C button 26 times, and then hit down, you can play the full game, which is a great bonus and an awesome tribute to its predecessor. The graphics here are unbelievably awesome. Taking a cue from Aladdin on Sega Genesis by having a cartoonist draw every frame of animation and then adding it into the game, well, Pitfall did the same thing. That's why it looks like you're playing a cartoon character. He is wildly over-exaggeratory in the way he moves, including climbing ropes especially. And backgrounds look great too because of this as well. It seems like pretty much everything in this game was hand-drawn and then added. And it holds up rather well because of this, although some stages are really dark. And I mean really dark. I had to turn the brightness up on my TV to the max settings just so I could see doors in the background. See, this isn't your standard 2D game. You can move in and out of the background pretty much at will, or when the game wants you to. And it can be a little confusing at first because you don't really even notice that it's happening. On the first level, it just throws it at you, and it's a little jarring, like I said. That being said, there's almost no learning curve to this game. It seems to be hard from the very start, and it runs all the way through to the end. Overall, though, the level design is pretty creative. If I were to show you a picture of a level, you would think it's not that big. But it's the way the developers made you wind in and out of the level that really makes it as large as it is. It has a lot of depth to it, different parts to the stage, and really creative. There's even fun spots where you slide down a vine. However, there's this one spot in the game where I thought I was stuck. I thought the game was just broken. I turned to the instruction manual to try and figure out how to crawl, but it was absolutely no help whatsoever. So, here's a quick tip. If you hold down and hit the jump button, you will enter the crawling animation. There you go. Much better now. Okay, so what about the enemies? Well, the enemies in the game are less than creative. It's your standard bats and mice and hard-to-hit enemies and enemies that take lots of hits. And that's probably the most frustrating part of the entire game because they also regenerate when you leave just a little bit of the area and then come back to it. So say you're climbing up a huge section and you miss a jump and fall all the way down to the bottom. Well, not only do you have to work your way back up to the top, but now you also have to fight off the enemies as well. And that can get pretty frustrating, so just don't miss any jumps. On top of it, sometimes you'll get hit from weapon placements that feel like you have to get hit to continue, and that's just kind of cheap. However, they do give you plenty of power-ups around if you're willing to look for them, and they're hidden everywhere. To start off, you have a sort of a whip thing. You could even pick up some rocks to use as a slingshot, a boomerang, and some type of mysterious crystal that explodes and does lots of damage. However, you really only need the whip and a slingshot thing for most parts of the game. if you clear a level, you do have the option to save. Keep in mind you only have 3 continues, and if you beat a level and save, and you happen to use a continue in that time span, you're still going to have then 2 continues for the next stage. So, play a level, clear it, reset your game, play a level again, this time without using a continue, so you can get the feel of the level itself. And that's the easiest way to work through the game. And within about 3 to 4 hours, you'll end up beating it, with probably all your continues too. So how do I feel about this game overall? Well, the sound design is pretty poor, the graphics are good, your character feels a little floaty, and the levels are extremely complex. However, it does come with the original Pitfall game, and that actually boosts it up a little bit for me. The ability to play a 2600 game on my Atari Jaguar is just awesome to me. So, I recommend it, and it's one of the cheaper games for the Jaguar. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you like the Atari Jaguar, please subscribe. I'm working my way through every single game. And if you have a favorite game you want me to try out next, leave a comment. Maybe I'll get to it soon, as I'm trying to work through these games as fast as possible. Please leave me a comment, though, because honestly, I just want to hear from someone from the outside world. And thanks again, guys.